It's really hard. This is like my third take. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I babble and I hit that 10-minute mark and I'm like, I gotta start over. Not again. Anyway, so this particular video is about sexism. A lot of people that say they're not sexist, discrimination based upon uh, gender. They really are. Like in America, it's completely like separate but equal is not okay. That was the saying. That was the what do they call it, mantra. I can't remember the term. That was the way that people who were prejudiced were trying to. That's the terminology that the prejudiced racists were using to try to mm, create a. They'd get rid of the conflict, even though allow the racism to continue. So separate but equal is racist, but separate but equal is not sexist. And I've always thought that was really weird. You know, men here, women there, acceptable. Blacks here, whites here, not acceptable. Why is that? Oh, men and women are different. I know. Black and whites are different. So, the a lot of people say, hey, women have gotten all these opportunities, right? But we still have separated sports. There's still men's sports and then women's sports, right? Yeah, like if we talk about like golfing, they go, oh, women are not allowed to play on this field. Oh no, that's sexism. That's discriminatory. You can't do that. I know. It's amazing that there could be that type of discrimination in this day and age, right? But I mean, how many women do you see playing professional football? That's what I'm talking about. How many do you see combined men and women's college football, basketball, baseball? No, they make it. They go, oh no, you women, you need to play softball. You need bigger balls to hit because you're not as good as us guys. I mean, that's prejudice. That is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, like I said, I recognize that men and women are different, and because of our body shapes, body sizes, men and women have different physical characteristics, just like different races have different physical characteristics. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. Now, what is wrong is saying you have to be separate because of those things. What is wrong is saying that women can't play professional baseball. Even if women can't play professional baseball, there shouldn't be a rule or an assumption that there are no women in professional baseball. You know what I mean? Anyone should be able to apply for that position. Women should be allowed into baseball. Men should be allowed into women's baseball. This goes both ways. This isn't just a one-way street. You can't have women's golf and not have men show up on the field in order to show up on the green in order to do a round with the women. You can't have it separate. All right, it needs to go both ways. There doesn't need to be women's golf, men's golf, women's football, men's football, women softball, and then baseball. No, there should be baseball for both, softball for both, basketball for both, football for both, golf for both. Do you know what I mean? But Americans don't see it like that. They don't see it as an issue. Just because women in general aren't as physically capable as men does not mean that you're allowed to make a rule isolating them, keeping them out. I mean, quite honestly, if you look at basketball players, yes, there's a lot of good white basketball players, right? But it's all about height. And if one day 90% of the people who are 9 feet tall are Asians, 90% of the people on the court are going to be Asian. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way things work, and that would be acceptable. What is not acceptable is saying that only Asians can play basketball, 9 foot tall Asians, or saying that women can't play basketball, because one day there might be the genetic combinations that make women 9 feet tall, or or make men 4 feet tall and not super muscular. I mean, I know that sounds kind of stupid, but my point is you shouldn't have an assumption or a rule based upon sex. It should just be the person going out for the job. This includes the military. There shouldn't be two standards. There shouldn't be women can do 20 push-ups and men got to do 50. Women can pick up 40 pounds, men got to be able to carry 60. That should never ever be acceptable in society, ever. Oh, women can be your medics and do non-combat stuff, but men get to do all the fighting, killing, and dying. I think that men should get the same opportunity as women, and women should get the same opportunity as men. We're not the same. We don't have the same characteristics. It's not about what men can do and what women can do. It's not about that. It's not about what you can and can't do. It's about what you have an opportunity to do. Because one day there might be a man born that that's so pathetic he can't fight on the battlefield, and he has to be kept back behind a desk on a typewriter. On a typewriter, I got to do the motion. One day, the arrogant male perspective. No, my point is, not all men have the physical capability to and don't meet the criteria of a warrior, and just like women, not all women don't fit the criteria to be a warrior out on the battlefield, right? It shouldn't matter their gender. It should matter is their testing, the results of their skills. I mean, if a woman has 300 pounds of freaking muscle, can bench press a ton, then it doesn't matter if she's a woman or that person is a man. It doesn't matter. All that matters is their capability, their results, and their ability to do the job. That's what matters. So anyway, so you shouldn't have the prejudice in the military. You should have two different standards in physical capabilities. If a man's got to do 50 push-ups, a woman's got to do 50 push-ups. If a man has to carry 350 pounds, a woman's got to carry 350 pounds. There should be no double standard. There shouldn't be men's basketball and women's basketball. There should just be one basketball. Oh, you don't agree with me? Well, you're sexist. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter what your capabilities are. What matters, what the prejudice is the assumption of inability. It's the rule saying that men can't be in women's basketball and women can't be in men's basketball. It's freaking ridiculous. There shouldn't be separate but equal. Is not okay when it comes to race, and not okay when it comes to gender. There's another thing I want to touch on. Some of that is justified because they say, well, women should be separate, men should be separate, because when men and women get together, they do sexual things and inappropriate behavior, things like that. For instance, a men's locker room and women's locker room, right? But it's something that people forget. There's gay men in men's locker room, and there's gay women in women's locker rooms. You know what I mean? People totally forget that. It's like it doesn't exist in their head. Same thing on a sub. I think Obama changed the rules, and the military is changing things, so now women can actually serve on subs now, which is ridiculous because it should never have been that way in the first place. As far as I'm concerned, there should be a separate room for a woman, a separate room for a man, a separate room for a woman, whatever. There shouldn't be a combined locker room. If you're afraid of people getting together and doing inappropriate sexual things, you should each have your own individual room, whether it's on a sub or in your locker room. It should be locker rooms. There shouldn't be a men's section and women's section. It should be you as an individual have a stall. Problem solved, the end. But our society is prejudiced and ignorant.